on the 10th.
There we go.
10th or the 11th. I don't have it in here, but what date? The 9th is the Friday and the 10th is the Saturday.
Yeah, so we're going to be there Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So either the Saturday night or Sunday, whichever you prefer, whatever works for you.
Saturday, why not? Means I could stay up and
Stay the night.
Yeah.
That, and I think too, because Saturday is actually an easier day, so people won't be as exhausted. so I think the second day is a big day, so I think they tend to be, pretty much ready to go to bed early.
Yeah, no, that's great. I will do the 10th. I've got that booked in my diary now.
Beautiful. I'll make sure. Actually, I better make a note to book you a room. Or you can just come and crash in with me or something.
Excellent.
Room Rachel Walk. So we've got 10 places reserved, but as we get additional people, we can apply for more. So we'll have to get onto that, as they come in, really.
Yep.
Yeah. We should get some, hopefully, good numbers off the bat.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping for. I've half volunteered people, but I didn't tell them about the fundraising or the. It's like, right. I just conscripted them. So I was hoping you have to put on the chart because I feel like we're like, Daz, what are you doing?
All right, I should probably close down all my messages and stuff so I don't get pinged every 5 minutes. Calendar, reminders, Trello, email. Found another one. All right. Have you got any questions, Rachel? I
don't think so. I think any questions I do have will be answered as you guys talk about your stuff. And
we're going to cover it first, right? So you pretty much, I think, get it covered. Just quickly, I'll just here we go. I'll just quickly run through it. So I'll go through just what we're going to cover. So Gary will be first. I'll cover off on sort of more about the actual walk itself. So Gary's going to talk more about the preparation and why he's taken on doing a charity challenge as part of fundraising for you guys. And then I'll cover the logistics. So it's probably going to be the longest part. And then you've got the time to do, who you are and why you started it. and that's what I sort of said, like, really, why did you create this? And then what difference a fundraising will make. So, and then I've actually set us a goal for the team, and then we'll have the time for the actual Q&A part of it. So I'll go through the logistics, and the last part is to sort of talk more about the fundraising, and we've got two options. So if people want to pay their costs, they can do that, and then they fundraise a lesser amount. Otherwise, they've got to fundraise $3,000, and that will cover their trip costs. And then that's when I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah.
So when I start talking about the fundraising, you can get yourself ready. And then I put in that other slide. Yep. And then the goal is that we raise enough to fund 4 programs.
Cool.
Because I think that's really nice and tangible. And like I said to you today, there's a lot of numbers people in this.
Yeah.
So I reckon they'll kind of bite into that.
Perfect.
So is that right? So there's 10 kids in each program, so that'll be 40. Is children the right word?
We call them young people because we work sort of 8 to 18. So.
Sorry, what's the age group?
8 to 18.
8 to 18. Okay, cool. and then 40 mentors will be trained.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. And so what we're going to do is for anybody that signs up, and this will be for the same for you if you get anybody through Ocean Mind as well, Gary's going to do a personalised training program for them, and I will do a personalised fundraising strategy. So that's kind of like the, if they sign up before the end of May.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
All right, just get some water.
All right, we're 7:30, so I'm going to start letting people in. Hi, Hayley. Chris Kelly, I was wondering if it was at Chris Kelly. I was, oh, it's so good to see you. Yeah. Chris is actually, Gary, that was what I was saying, is a very, very, say, long-term friend of a very good friend of mine, and is coming in from you're Hunter Valley, technically, aren't you? New South Wales? Yeah. So, hi, Chris. Another Chris. All right, we'll just give everybody a couple of minutes to sign in. We've got a few people registered, so we will give them a few minutes to log in. Chris Kelly, does Kate Croucher know that you are on this tonight?
No, I didn't tell her.
All right, you know you're going to have to rope her in if you sign up for this.
I just assumed she would be here, so.
I didn't forewarn her that you were here because I wasn't sure if it was you, but don't worry, she'll be an easy sell, I promise.
I like it.
Hey, Stu. Hi, Catherine, Steph.
Hello.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Gary.
Hello. All right. So we are recording tonight just in case there were people that couldn't make this evening. So hopefully that should be all okay for all of you. You should put me into preso mode. Here we all go. They come. Hi, Yako. Anthony. Hi, Tim. Hi, Rob.
Hey.
Hey.
Purely, how you doing?
Sorry, what was that, Yako?
So how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Oh, and who's that you've got with you?
But Kath, my wife Kath.
Hi, Kath. Lovely to meet you. Alrighty. Well, we might kick off. I'm sure that there'll be a few people that will come in a little late, but we'll get started so that we can keep on time for everything tonight. So thank you all so much for coming to find out a little bit more about this amazing trip and challenge. It's called the Great Ocean Walk. Really looking forward to sharing with you what it's about. And if you've got any questions as we're going through, feel free to pop them into the chat. We'll probably cover it during, but if not, we'll have an opportunity at the end to do a bit of a Q&A as well. So I will go through what we're actually going to cover off on tonight. So we will do some introductions of who are the key people that are involved with this event. Coach Gaz is actually going to be talking about why it is that he's actually taken on this charity challenge, and this is the major fundraiser that he has organised for his charity partner, Ocean Mind, which he has chosen from the Dovetail Social Impact Program. So I'm very, very grateful that he joined the program and took on one of my favourite parts of fundraising, which is doing these challenges. We also will have me talking a little bit around what you can actually expect to get out of the challenge. I've actually done this particular walk 3 times myself. I've done over a dozen different charity challenges over the past 10 years. So got lots of experience and pretty much can answer any questions you might have around them. So I'm going to cover off on some of the logistics of the actual trip and also the fundraising component of it in case you've got any questions around that. And then we're very, very grateful that Rachel, who is the founder of Ocean Mind, has actually joined us tonight, because I thought it would be really great for you to hear in person about why she started Ocean Mind and what the funds are actually going to be used for, that you're going to actually be fundraising for. And then I've actually created us a little bit of a goal that we could have from this challenge, and also we'll have an opportunity, as I said, for a bit of a Q&A at the end. So I'm going to hand over now to Coach Gaz, and he's actually going to go through why he actually chose to run this event. He's going to cover off where it can go wrong with your preparation, any aspects of your preparation that you need to keep in mind, and also a very special offer around getting a very personalised prep for the program as well. So hand over to you, Gaz.
Thanks, Kiralee, and thanks everyone for being here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all showing your faces. I know some people I have volunteered, some people I've conscripted, and some people are just here because you want to see my face. But whatever brought you here, I'm glad you're here. Yes, Stewie, I know that's you. All right. So look, why we are running this challenge, no one's immune to the fact that we've been through a difficult couple of years, and no one's immune to the fact, if you've got children or aware of it, that's been a difficult time for kids. When we selected our charity partner, we did so for deeply personal reasons. I operate in the fitness and health space, but I'm very passionate about mental health. I've seen so many people, young people and people later on in life, as a result of challenges they've had in their earlier years, really struggle with their mental health, and that has been the obstacle that has prevented them from really taking part in life like they wanted to. When I found this cause, thanks to Kiralee, it just spoke to me, even though I'm a terrible swimmer and I am yet to learn to surf. So that's part of my personal goals with this. But look, I think having run many adventure kind of challenges in the past and years gone by, it just spoke to me, like being able to step away from the city for 3 days with a positive group of people creates a lot of positive outcomes for the participants, both in the preparation and the experience of the event. A lot of these events can then, unto themselves, propel people forward in so many different ways. And who doesn't want to get around the Great Ocean Road? Like, it's a beautiful natural aspect. You get out, you decompress from the city. It's not that far, so it's not a logistical nightmare. Those are the reasons why we wanted to choose this challenge. This challenge is very accessible for anyone, regardless if you're training now or that you're yet to commence. 30Ks is not untenable over 3 days. And the walk that we've chosen is, it's achievable for people, providing that you do the prep. And this is what I really wanted to speak to you tonight. I've taken people onto Kokoda, I've taken people through Spartan challenges up and down mountains, and we've run everything up to 12-hour challenges in the past, and where people tend to fail is that they tend to sign up for this event and then they put off starting their prep, because you go through that cycle of, it's 4 months away, it's cold, I've got this workload on, like all of these things contribute to the conversation. And before you know it, it's August and you've got the walk coming up. And now, instead of excitement, you're filled with a sense of anxiety and a sense of doubt. And that slows you down and it affects the enjoyment of the walk. So there are a few components that we really need to address when we're looking at the walk. One is walk conditioning. And it sounds almost ludicrous to mention it, but if you think about, if you've ever experienced foot issues, ankle issues, knee issues, hip issues, like if you don't take this into account, the simple fact of being able to walk that distance without straining or exerting yourself too much, you need to be having that prep in the weeks leading up to it. And you need to be able to walk on different surfaces at different inclines and be able to really be conditioned to handle that walk. Now, under any functional movement, and walking is a functional movement, and even though we've all been doing it for our entire lives, not all of us do it well. And so what I really implore to you to consider is that, and this is what I teach in my business, is that we think when we exercise, that when we go to the gym and someone teaches us a technique, we have this expectation that we'll be able to do the technique straight away, or it's a higher function to be able to learn the technique and then we do it well. Well, I'll tell you, after 16 years of working in the fitness industry and dealing with countless people, helping them improve their movement, that technique is not where we should be starting. We should be starting with function. Why do your knees hurt when you go up and down stairs? Why do you need support in your shoes to support your structure? Why do the right shoes matter? You know? Why do I have this pain in my hip when I walk? Why does my back stiffen up after I go up a hill? All of these questions are questions that need to be asked and addressed proactively in order for you to get the most out of your adventure experience. And in my experience, it is the people that don't proactively address these questions that end up getting to a certain point of their journey, and they're just trying to grind through that last bit. They're trying to push through the pain, and that doesn't lead to an enjoyable experience. It is okay to push yourself out of your comfort zone, but I don't want people, having that mentality of no pain, no gain. So walk conditioning and movement recovery is actually a part of your prep. I would love it. Everyone who participated in this prep not only had an amazing adventure, but coming out of it, they're like, I haven't moved this well in 10, 20 years. That would be an amazing outcome for me. The other element is strength. You need to be stronger to be able to handle these hills, be able to handle these inclines and declines, be able to carry your body weight plus a little bit of pack weight without struggling and strain. So strength training is part of this. Counteractive to our common perception of fitness, as we get older, we shouldn't be doing less strength training. We should actually be doing more. We just need to be doing more of the right stuff. The goal is not to have huge muscles and for you guys and girls to have massive legs going up and down the hills, but they need to be capable. Strong legs attribute to longer life and healthier life because it attributes to your independence. And a challenge like this, it helps lay the foundation for you to really center in on that. Because how many, as an adult, we tend to use our legs less and less. Who groans getting up and down out of a chair now, right? Who used to be able to sprint and to run up a hill or run after a tram, and now that's a struggle? Who used to play with their kids and be able to duck and weave with them, and now you're flat out just running in a straight line? All of these attribute to a lack, to an indication that your leg strength is not where it should be. And that is a concern for me, because I want people not only to be fit and healthy now, I want them to be fit and healthy in 12 weeks, 12 years, right? And so we can't cut corners on that. And that's why prep is important in terms of your strength. Recovery is important, recovering from the walks and recovering before you get pain. For those who are business leaders in the room, in your business, when you're looking at it, you've got leading indicators and lagging indicators. Pain in a joint is a lagging indicator of a dysfunction. It's not what you should be waiting for before you start to do something about it. The problem with our health and our fitness and our wellness is that we tend to wait for something to go wrong, for us to have a light bulb moment, for our back to go out, our knees to hurt, our body to give up almost, before we actually do something proactive about your health. And I'll tell you from a very personal experience, having seen it, last year with my mum passing away, that all these things that you aren't proactive on, they cascade and they add up, and before you know it, your health, your wellness, your well-being, your longevity, all of it can so easily be taken away from you. And I don't want that for anyone that has touch with our business. contact with our business. We need to talk about gear. So I've roped in some experts that have done much more than 30 Ks. And I've reeled in some experts and some past clients for that to help talk about gear, to help us prep for that. And yeah, that's basically it. So what we're looking at is starting the prep for the participants early, carrying it on through the challenge, getting the community together for some well-being so people feel comfortable both with the people they're training with and walking with, and also that they feel very comfortable in their training, making it accessible so you don't have to, rock up to our gym every week, but we want to make sure that you're moving that needle forward. And by the time that you reach the walk, you're excited for it, you're pumped for it, you're fully capable, you can just enjoy it, and you can look at the beautiful sights and talk to the beautiful people and have beautiful conversations and make this a really powerful experience for you all. So that's my goal. That's some of the stuff that we're going to cover. It's got to be holistic, it's got to be proactive. We want to make sure that everyone who signs up is fully prepped for it and just has the best experience possible, because honestly, I want more adventures to come, and I want us to do more good and help more people. And so we're looking to make this the best possible experience for you that we can. How am I doing? I'm 4 minutes ahead. I've never been under time in my life.
Well done, Gary. And you're spot on. From all of the challenges that I've done, it really is. If you do the work beforehand, you just have the space to enjoy when you're actually doing the walk, and that's the really great thing. You'll be able to just enjoy each other's company and the incredible, stunning views, and just really enjoy being present in the moment rather than worrying about your knee hurting or am I going to make it to the end. So yeah.
Should I talk about a little bit what I envision for that program, or do you want to talk about that a little bit later?
I reckon we'll leave it to the end when we talk about the bonus. Yeah.
Done.
Beautiful. All right, lovely. So now I'm going to go through some of the logistics about what's actually involved with the actual trip itself. And as I said, I've done this trip a couple of times. They've been with different companies and slightly different sections of the Great Ocean Walk, but every part of it is just stunning, and it's always one of my most favourite ones. So what we actually get with this particular trip, oh, that's funny. Are you seeing a black screen with only... interesting. Don't know why it's doing that. So it's actually going to run over a Saturday, Sunday and a Monday. So it starts on the 10th of September and it finishes on Monday, the 12th of September. And we're going to pick everybody up from a central place at the Art Centre in the CBD area. And everybody's going to get shuttled across through to Apollo Bay, which is where we actually start the walk. And it finishes at the 12 Apostles. And then everybody will get shuttled back to the Arts Centre where you can go home from there. And the cost is that we have a $350 deposit and there's a fundraising total of $3,000. So, and one of the things that I really love about this particular walk is that you've got, it's such a stunning place where you finish at the 12 Apostles, and you actually get the opportunity to go down onto the beach at the Gibson's Beach as well. And technically it's not the 12 Apostles, but Golga and Magolga are the two places where the two sort of limestone pillars that are still up there, and it's such a beautiful place. And because now we have an incredible opportunity with not a lot of overseas tourists being in the country, you're going to actually get a really, really special visit to the 12 Apostles as well. You won't be, fighting off hordes of people to be there as well. It's changed so much since I first was there. So the actual challenge itself, it covers over the 3 days. We've got day one, we've got 11 kilometres. Now, the first day is really not that taxing. It's a bit of a warm-up. It's more of an undulating terrain, and you really follow a lot of the coastline through to Cape Otway. So you begin at the Blanket Bay campground and you sort of walk through some different boardwalks. You go through a very gentle climb up to Point Lewis Lookout. and then you continue to follow the coastal trek around across several, creek footbridges, and then you end up at the historical Cape Otway Lighthouse. It is a day that's really full of a lot of history. There's, you talk about the shipwrecks, the traditional landowners. You find out about the various different lighthouse keeper families that have lived in that area, and as well as a lot of World War II history. So it's a really lovely, gentle way to start the walk, but it's also a really, really interesting day. And then you actually get picked up at the end and taken back to where the accommodation is, and you will have a lovely 2-course dinner prepared for you as well. On day 2, we've got, and this is probably my favourite day. It is the toughest day, but I love it because of the variety of the landscape that you get. There's a lot of remote beaches. It's quite rugged. There's a lot of remote areas. You've got everything from sort of high sea cliffs, headlands and stunning lookouts through to rolling farmlands. There's a boardwalk that goes through a really beautiful tea tree grove. And so there's a few steep climbs on this day and steep descents. And it's quite a long day because you cover 15 kilometres and it's a full 8 hours of walking on that day. So, but it's entirely worth it because you just cover so much different terrain through that day. And then on the third day, it's still a reasonable distance at 8.5 kilometres, but it's a fairly easy walk. And that one's actually back along the sort of undulating coastline. And there's also this gorgeous estuary that you sort of walk through along a boardwalk as well. And you finish up coming into the 12 Apostles. And as I said, you can get down onto the beach at that point as well. Now, if we all finish on time, then we also will have a stop in at a chocolatieri on the way back, so you can actually reload some of those carbs that you've just spent over the past 3 days, and then we'll take you back to the art centre. So, and you can go home from there, and you get there about 5:30, 6 o'clock. We should be back in town. The accommodation is at Bimby Park, and it's a gorgeous little spot. It is located right in the middle of the Otway National Park. You will have sort of like a 1 to 2 bedroom shared accommodation. You'll have your own bathroom, you'll have hot showers, you've got crisp, clean linen and towels and everything. So it's a really nice way to sort of refresh during the night. And it's also because of where it's located, it's just got some beautiful views as well as lots of wildlife and everything around. And the guy, Frank, who owns this place, is such a character. So hopefully we'll get to see and spend a bit of time with him. He's just real life of the party. And you won't have to carry anything with you because the support vehicle is going to take everything to the accommodation at night. You only need to carry what you need for the day as far as your food, snacks and water. So it's really a nice way to sort of do this part of the trip. A lot of people do the Great Ocean Walk entirely unsupported, and they'll carry their day packs and tents and all that sort of stuff. So this is actually a really lovely way to do it. So what's included with this is that we've got 2 nights accommodation, we've got transport to and from the actual challenge itself, and we have all of your meals included through the challenge. So it's got to like pretty much from lunchtime on the Saturday until lunchtime on the Monday, and they also provide water, tea, coffee, any snacks and trail mix and stuff along the way. You're not going to go hungry. You're going to have heaps of energy. There's heaps to sort of look after you that way. They cover the national park entry fees, and a support vehicle will be available on all of the days as well. But you've got to keep in mind that some areas are not accessible, but they do bring that into areas where they can. So they, whether it's for lunch or you just need a top up of water or whatever it is. The fundraising component, so how this works, and I know we've got a few numbers people in the room. So the deposit is $350 when you register for the event, and the fundraising target is $3,000 per person. So how we work that out is based on the trip cost. So whatever we have as a fundraising target is going to be double what the trip actually costs. So that's at a minimum $3,000. Each of you will get a personalised fundraising page that you can actually accept donations on, and that will actually issue automatically tax-deductible receipts. All of those funds will go directly through to Ocean Mind. That is receipted as a tax receipt, and they will, between Rachel and myself, we'll be managing how all of that gets managed. There is another option for those. Sometimes people aren't actually comfortable with the fundraising contributing to the actual trip of the cost of the trip, and that's fine. No problem if you would prefer to pay that yourself. So still the same deposit, but you'll pay the additional part to cover your trip cost, and the minimum fundraising target for those people is $1,500. So now I'm going to hand over to Rachel, who's going to tell us a little bit about Ocean Mind and why she started it, and also what we'll actually be doing the fundraising for. Over to you, Rachel.
Excellent. Thanks, Kiralee. Hi, everyone, and thanks for coming tonight. Thanks, Gary, for choosing Ocean Mind to be one of your charities to fundraise for as well. So I guess a little bit about what Ocean Mind does and then why I started it. So Ocean Mind is a therapeutic surfing program for young people aged 8 to 18 experiencing mental health challenges, social isolation or disability. So when thinking about mental health support for young people, we were really looking at what's long-term support and also what's going to be engaging and what's going to be what's going to remove the barriers for young people actually accessing this mental health support. And so this is where Ocean Mind was kind of born from. And young people are there to get access to our support services. All they need is a referral and that referral can come from school teachers. It can come from youth workers, support workers, mental health workers. It can also come from their parents if their parents can contact us and advocate for the support that they need as well. So young people it's really accessible program for any young person to come on board and be part of. And once we receive those referrals, the young people are then able to access our 6-week program. So our 6-week program is the start of the Ocean Mind journey. And what we do is we meet all the young people before they jump on board with us, and we understand what their needs are. So we can tailor the program to the individual and make sure that each young person is going to succeed when they come onto the program, and they are achieving their own goals, not arbitrary goals that we set for them. So after we've done that assessment with the young people, we match them one-to-one with a community mentor. Now, our mentors are all community members that are very comfortable in the ocean, not necessarily surfers, but people that are really keen to help other young people out as well. And so through the training that we give the mentors, they learn how to support young people, but also we teach them how to sort of look after young people in the water as well. And so we spend those 6 weeks learning to surf, but surfing's not our goal. Our goal is really creating community and creating connection. So we're looking at communication skills and teamwork. We do a lot of activities and games around building up those skills. We talk about socialization and how to sort of not be alone and be able to reach out for help when you need it. We do a lot of activities around building up trust and talking about emotional regulation and how to do that for young people, and how the ocean can be one of those tools that they have to support their mental health and well-being. So once the young people finish our 6-week program and graduate, we have a big barbecue and celebration, but the support doesn't stop there. As I was saying before, it's really important to have long-term access to support. And so that's why we created the Ocean Mind Surf Club. And that surf club is a space where young people that have graduated from the Ocean Mind programs can come to each week for as long as they want to come to the program and get the support they need. They can connect with other mentors, they can meet new young people, and also develop relationships with other volunteers and other support staff. So in this space, we are really looking at building up that social trust and developing that sense of community for the young people. We also give young people opportunities for development of leadership skills and development of sort of mentoring skills as well. Because when we talk about mentoring, we also want the young people to be able to know that they can mentor also. So our next stage of the program, when young people turn 16, is to offer them an opportunity to become a peer mentor. So the young people go through the process of learning the skills that we teach the volunteers and then changing into being part of the volunteer pool of support. And so it really is transformative in this stage for the young people, changing their mindset around being someone that needs help to being somebody that can help others, and seeing sort of their confidence build and grow in this space is so exciting. So that's our model of Ocean Mind. And I guess what led me to start something like this is my own personal journey with mental ill health. When I was quite young, 13, 14, I was going through quite a real struggle with my mental health, and I didn't know what was going on. And it wasn't until I was hospitalized in a psych ward and diagnosed with manic depression, which is nowadays bipolar, that I kind of started understanding a little bit of what was going on for me. In that space and in that time, though, there was nobody that understood at school what I was going through. There was none of my friends that understood what it was that I was experiencing. And there wasn't many support services out there. I was really fortunate because my parents had the funds and the resources to be able to advocate and get the support I needed. But I know that wasn't the case for many other young people in my age range. And I know as we've gone forward in society and in the years, mental health has lost a lot of its stigma, but there is still stigma around it. And mental health has gained a lot more funding, but there's still not enough there. And so Ocean Mind stemmed from a need to provide the support for young people, which isn't in a psychology setting, which isn't in a room where young people had to sit down and talk about their feelings, but could get the same support in an outdoor space, which is really engaging and where they want to be. I always talk about this idea of putting fun back into mental health, because one of the things that we talk about mental health and well-being is that fun needs to be an aspect to it. And so sitting in a room talking about everything that's going wrong or not going right for you is not kind of building up that space of fun and engagement with community and with people, which is, we know, something that's really important for mental health and well-being. So that was, I guess that's the story of how I started it or why I started it. And it's now come from a small passion project of an idea 5 years ago to being quite a large mental health support service in the Greater Geelong region. So currently we run programs from both Anglesea Main Beach and Ocean Grove, and we've just opened up in Warrnambool as well as a new location to support more young people. Unfortunately, though, we still have quite a large waiting list. As you can imagine, in the last 2 years, there's been an increase in I guess, the amount of support people need. Mental health has gone down significantly for adults and young people. And I think the strain of the last 2 years is really showing up right now. We are finding more and more young people disengaged from their communities, from their friends, from school environments, and they need that guide to introduce them back into what used to be, something easy and came second nature to them. And that's, I think, where we see Ocean Mind being able to help. But for us to do that, we need to run more programs. And so we want to reduce our waiting list. We want to be able to put more young people through our 6-week programs and also run more of these surf clubs where that sense of community really gets fostered and built. So what you'll be fundraising for, I guess, is that goal of ours is to double our services and to offer 12 more 6-week programs in the next season. So our seasons are from September through till June. We want to increase our ongoing support, which is that surf club, and make sure that there's 320 support places for young people over the season. And it also means upskilling the community by teaching them how to support young people and teaching them about mental health and wellbeing. And so we're wanting to upskill 120 community volunteers as well. So that's what we need your support for.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rachel. I think the thing that I've really been inspired by, Rachel, it is a local Victorian organisation. She's based in Torquay and looks after the Surf Coast region. And it's just incredible what she's actually achieved in the past 5 years. I attended their last AGM and was so impressed by the professionalism, the goals that they have, their ambition, but also what they've actually achieved to date. It's just been really, really inspiring. It's always moving when you hear somebody has actually taken their own personal experience and actually really done some good with it. And really, made a much, much greater impact, across the local community. So it's a real honour, Rachel, to support your organisation through the Dovetail program, and really excited that we get to do this first trip and challenge in your region. So for all of the challengers that are participating, Rachel will actually be coming along on the Saturday night to meet you in person, to thank you. And talk some more about what the organisation does and answer any questions that you have as well. So thanks, Rachel. I really appreciate you taking the time out tonight to be with us all.
Not a problem.
So from what Rachel said, I thought it would be good that we actually created a bit of a goal for this challenge, and given what they have to face at the moment with such a high wait list at the moment, I see that we could actually raise enough to fund 4 of their 6-week programs. We could easily raise $16,000 between the group. We have 10 places that are actually locked in for this challenge, but we will be able to take on more participants as they come in, depending on the availability mainly the accommodation is the main thing, because it's a very popular place. And what that's going to mean is that we'll actually be able to put 40 young people in the program, starting from September next year, which I thought is a really great goal to have, and something that we can all keep in mind as we're doing all of our training and the fundraising as well. So, and that will also mean that we get 40 mentors trained as well. So it's I thought a really good goal for us to have as part of this challenge. So that's pretty much it in regards to the details. We're going to have a bit of a Q&A now. So if anybody's got any particular questions about any aspect, if it's the training, if it's around the charity and you want to ask Rachel some questions, or if you want some more specific information about the actual challenge, I'm going to pop the link to the actual challenge website so that you have all of the details on there. But by all means, you feel free to ask any questions that you have now. But before we do that, I just wanted to sort of go into a bit of an offer that we've put in for the group tonight, and for anybody who does actually sign up for the challenge before the end of May. Gary's going to offer a personalised training program on behalf of Recalibrate for any of the participants that sign up before the end of the month, and I will also do a personalised fundraising strategy for anybody that needs an extra level of support in hitting their fundraising targets. So Gary, do you want to say a little bit around what you're going to do in your training program?
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who may have been with us in earlier versions of our online training, we've really tweaked it and developed it to the current needs. And so now it becomes more personal than ever. So in your personalized training program, it's delivered online through our app, but it's constructed individually. And so what that means is that you have the convenience of your phone to see the videos, to see the instructions, and to get the resources, and you can build a schedule that works for you week to week, but you have that personalized support. And what we've introduced in addition to kind of the online support is a 15-minute recal call on a regular basis, generally weekly for most people we find works well, fortnightly for some others. And in that time, we're able to really touch base and find out what your challenges have been in the past week, what you've got coming up, and be able to tweak and modify that program week to week. What the program would look like would be a certain volume of walk conditioning, as I mentioned earlier in the call. But in order for you to be able to get the most out of that, there needs to be elements of movement recovery. So if you've got any injuries, pains, aches, niggles, I don't want you to worry about that, because we have a very good track record of alleviating chronic conditions through the work that we do in health and fitness. And if there's anything that we can resolve, we can find ways for you to be able to handle it better. Because like I said, we don't want you to push through pain. There's a strength element in there that can be conducted, at home. If you're more comfortable training at home with a small amount of equipment, you can go to a local gym like some of our members do. Or if you wanted to take on the extra option of coming in to see us at the city, you're more than welcome to do that. Or, in Moorabbin is also a possible option. So we've got wall conditioning, we've got strength, we've got recovery options. One of the things with multi-day events is that, it's very doable to do 3 days of consecutive activity back to back, but is the recovery. Part of that is the nutrition, which Kirili already talked about. You'll be very well fed, but other than that, it's also the physical recovery and how you look after your body in between your training bouts so you can get the most out of it, right? I don't want you feeling like you're walking through peanut butter. I want you to feel light and powerful and strong as you're doing this, and that's part of it. So we're going to cover all those elements off. We're going to have a 15-minute recoil call, which is individual. We'll have some group webinars. I've got 3 speakers in mind. One is a experienced physio who deals in neural activation. Carl, he's also got a passion for trail running. So he understands movement, and I'm going to get him to come in and run a webinar on that aspect of things, so you're more informed about your body. The other one we're going to pull in is Phil Evan. He's a mindset and business performance coach. He completed a desert endurance run, 250 Ks, so he knows what goes into events that take you out in nature and have you exposed to it. And the third one I'm working on is actually a past client of mine, Sandy Suckling, and she is a ultra endurance runner, professional ultra endurance runner. She's completed some of the toughest races in the world. She does hikes, she does trail runs, and she recently ran from Broken Hill to Melbourne in 21 days. And she's in her 60s, and she's an amazing advocate, a lovely person. I was telling Kirili when I first started training them, one of their first major events after I took them to the Melbourne Marathon was 5 250-kilometre desert races. And Cole and Sandy did it together, but it turns out Cole, her husband, didn't actually like running that much. He just did it because she was doing it and he wanted to be there to support her. Ironically, she runs much faster than him, so he basically saw her up ahead of him for the entire year while he was doing these events. So we're going to pull that in, and we're also going to organise some group walks. We're aiming to get about 3 to 4 in. So we're going to put them in urban or closer locations, and that's an opportunity for you guys to get together, get to know each other. We get to go on a nice walk together. Again, we have those aspects of conversation, interaction, connection, and learn about some of the hidden secrets that Melbourne has that we may have been around, our entire lives and not really known about. So even though you'll be running online, there's heaps of opportunity for personal connection. Usually, we obviously run this as a professional service. So I want to extend that to participants to show my appreciation for it. You'll get the same value as a paid service, but we're going to run it for free. For those of you who are paid clients already, we're going to add this into your program, and we'll see what else we can do to make your experience richer, because I do appreciate your continued patronage and support, and so I want to make sure that you guys are addressed, and we add this into your programs as well, to make sure that you understand how much I appreciate your business and working with us at Recalibrate.
Thank you, Gary. Beautiful. All right. So now, one of the things I didn't mention earlier is that once we have a majority of the people signed up for this challenge as well, I will actually run some sessions on fundraising, on the fundraising component, because I know that can be sometimes the scariest part for people and the most unknown part. So I will do that with you. And then, like I said, if there's anybody that does join, I'm happy to do a personalised so like fundraising strategy with you if you sign up before the end of May. And we will have a Facebook group. There will be a place for you to connect with each other through there, although a lot of you already know each other, but it is a way just to, again, to connect with the community. And yeah, if there's any questions, I suppose, that anybody has about either the training, about the event itself, the logistics, the fundraising component, or of Rachel and the work that they do at Ocean Mind, jump right in. Or is it clear as mud?
Who's got a question?
Someone's got to have a question. Come on.
Oh, you must have a question.
All right, I'll start off. Bimby accommodation, how's it work? You walk your 10, 11 Ks or 15 Ks, and then you get a bus transferred back to the accommodation point?
Yes, correct. So, and I think on the second day, we may start from Bimby Park, but it just depends on the precise part of it. But they effectively will pick you up from the end and take you back to your accommodation and get you to the start as well. So
you don't have to bring backpacks or anything like that, other than a little...
Just your day
shoulder
pack.
Thank you.
Yeah, just your day pack. So you just, whatever you need to have for your accommodation and, you know, change of clothes and all that sort of stuff, they will take that directly to Bimby Park for you on the first day. And then you get to put it all in your room. It stays there. You've got the 2 nights accommodation in the one place. And then on the Sunday morning, you'll just... you prepare your food for the next day, pack your day pack, your water and all that sort of stuff. And then they'll also have... I think on the second day, there's a few remote areas. So that's why you actually pack up a little bit more as far as your trail mix and snacks and water. But they'll also have stops for tea and coffee and all of that. And the support vehicle comes and meets you in various different places along the 3 days.
Great. Thanks, Curly.
You're welcome.
What if you can do 2 days, but you can't do the third day for whatever reason? Is that okay?
We prefer that everybody be there for the full 3 days. It's mainly because we've got a limited amount of places that are in there, so we prefer that people actually be there for the whole 3 days. Is it a particular day, Stu, that's a concern for you?
I was just asking the question.
Yep. Yeah, so we do expect everybody will be there for the full 3 days, and plus it's about sometimes the logistics getting in and out as well.
Hayley has a question, Curly. She asks,
Yes.
what's the terrain like? Can we wear runners or do we need special hiking
Shoes. Yeah, great. Really good question, Hayley. It's like I said, the first 2 days are pretty much undulating. So you're walking along boardwalks. Parts of it are on sand. It's just a long trail, so that's pretty good. I would suggest that you have very good tread. If you've got runners, they're fine, but you do want to have really good tread, because if it's a rainy day, things can get slippery, so you want to be prepared for that. But I would strongly suggest that you have good hiking shoes or hiking boots to protect your ankles as well, because if the weather if we do get a bit of rain or anything like that, you will need to obviously protect your feet and your ankles, and no thongs, thanks. Thongs are good for you. You don't even need thongs in your shower. It's pretty good.
Love it. You won't need your hoverboard, Laurie. All you got to do is make those 10Ks. There's no barbed wire or anything, and you get a bus back to the accommodation. So you're good, mate.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone relating to the lead up to it, the event itself, or anything really? Now's your chance to ask the questions that have been on your mind.
And if you've got the question, somebody else probably does too. So
Yeah, one more for me. When's registration due?
So the actual registration can be from any time now, and it all depends on the accommodation. So as we said, we've got 10 places that are confirmed and locked in. The full balance of the accommodation is due next month in June. So we want to have everybody sort of locked up and locked in, by mid-June. And then just figuring out the logistics of how you're going to do your fundraising, or if you're going to pay your trip costs.
So on registration, it's 350.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would the full balance be then?
So if you're going to pay your trip costs, it's $11.50.
Otherwise, fundraising by what, mid-June?
No, the fundraising doesn't have to be completed until about, let me just think, early August.
Okay.
So you've got a bit of time there. The main thing is covering the trip cost component because that's got to be paid well in advance, but the part over that is actually different.
Okay.
You got a little bit more time for that.
Yep.
It's a pretty good deal, though. You get a little mini holiday. And, it's not
It's a little mini break.
Yeah, it's a little mini break. You would have paid $1,000 for a hotel for one night and gone free.
Yeah.
Are there anyone unsure that they'll be able to make the distance or worried about that, or that's true, no. But are there any questions that we haven't answered? I'm going to run it. Stewie, are you? Really? You'll have to do your homework, Stuart, for that to happen.
Yeah, we're not going to send out a lost party for you if you get lost to go off track somewhere.
If it rains solidly for 3 days, I mean, I don't mind walking in the rain, but when you get completely saturated, it gets quite uncomfortable. Like, are we going to have an opportunity to dry off somewhere?
Yeah.
What should we do?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know, well, definitely, Chris, you can speak to Kate because the one that she did, they actually did get a bit of rain on that particular weekend. And so, yes, you can always put like a change of clothes, or if we know the forecast is rain, you just obviously have to pack accordingly. We do suggest like the walk will go ahead regardless, unless it's actually a risk for people's safety. But, we'll say make sure you bring your ponchos or wet weather gear. If you need a change of clothes, put it in the van, but remembering that there are some points where that it is inaccessible. It's mainly on the second day that can be a little bit more of a challenge. And they will just, there's so many different parts of the route as well that the local guides know them fairly well. So if there's any risky parts or areas that they think it's actually not good to go to, then they'll make that call on the weekend as well. And we'll do the best that we can to make sure everybody gets through and does as much of the challenge that they can. Yeah, but the good thing is that accommodation is amazing, and having a hot shower and a really comfy bed with really crisp linen is like you'll feel like you're in heaven after a really long day on your feet. So,
Kiralee, is it walk together as a group?
Yeah, we do have to walk together as a group, but you can stretch out. There's no, it's not a race. So people will, sort of just naturally sort of get into groups and stuff like that and pairs as they walk along, or if they want to walk by themselves, that's fine as well, Steph. So, yeah, that's totally fine. But we just make sure that we've got somebody at the back and somebody at the front to make sure that we don't lose anybody. Good question. Does anybody have any questions in regards to the fundraising component? I know we've got a few pros here now from our recent challenge. Or any questions for Rachel?
Will I be able to surf?
You mean on that weekend? You might be able to hang around on the Monday if you want to. I'm sure Rachel will be keen. We'd be happy to take a few people out.
Yeah, sure. Why not? End of walk surf lessons down at the 12 Apostles.
On Gibson's Beach. I don't know if I'd want to be taking a board down those stairs, but anyway.
I don't think that's a good beginner place, but yeah.
I'm sure we'd be happy to organise a little reunion training session when it warms up a little bit down there.
That's true. We could take a little detour down to Torquay for a bit and see Rachel and meet some of the kids.
Definitely.
And have a bit of surf. I'll pack my floaties.
Fabulous. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we will finish up. Thank you so much for taking some time out. If anything does come up, please just feel free to reach out to myself or to Gary. And if anything sort of pops into your head later, have a look at the website. There's pretty much all the information that you need on there. And it's also the place that you can actually register in. And yeah, we really appreciate you taking some time out of your night and finding out about it. And hopefully we'll see you trekking and all the practice walks as well leading up to it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
You know what? We'll go to.
That's it.